Hi, I'm Kat Peters, and welcome to Cooking with Kat. One of the things about this series that brings me great joy is the ability to connect with people through food and to learn more about them. So today, I am so excited to be here with Janet, my good friend and client and owner of this gorgeous apartment in Park Slope. She's going to be sharing with us a recipe that's very dear to her mom's ginger confinement chicken. This is really special, and the moms are gonna love this.
This recipe is a very typical and popular dish that women eat after giving birth because it's supposed to nourish their body, help their body heal. For me, it's special because, my mom made it for me. She made it for my sister after we had our babies. And one of these days, I hope to be able to do that for my own daughter. The main ingredient is ginger. Ginger is hot, so it combats the cold and it actually helps the body to nourish, to keep warm. It boosts the immune system. It's great.
This recipe is great for women postpartum, but I think everyone watching this can use an immunity boost. So as we get started, let's talk about the ingredients.
We're going to need some chicken, some sliced ginger, some sliced scallion, brown sugar, and a little bit of oil and water. The important part is also the wine because the chicken is in wine sauce. Now I know people think, oh, if you're pregnant or if you're breastfeeding, you're not supposed to be drinking alcohol, but just remember the alcohol does get cooked off. And one of the ingredients that we use is the fermented rice. Now, traditionally, when a woman finds out that they are pregnant or expecting, they start the fermenting process. So the rice does take months and months to steep and ferment and be ready. And once it's done, the liquid is reserved, and that's the wine that you get. And also the rice is believed to have really good bacteria in there, and it actually helps to protect your uterus and help it heal.
Some of these ingredients were purchased at the Asian market, and I see you have brown sugar candy here as opposed to brown sugar.
Loose brown sugar was not very typical or easy to find in China, so a lot of people use the sugar that's been solidified. It's easier for them to measure, and honestly, I have to say, a lot of Asian cooking, we eyeball it.
So let's get started. What's the first step?
You want to prep your ginger and your scallion, so obviously make sure you have them clean, peeled, and ready to go. For the ginger, just thin slice and julienne.
No matchsticks here.
For the scallion, just rough chop.
And does it matter which part of the scallion you use, if it's the green or the white part?
Not at all. We actually like to use the whole part. Nothing goes to waste in Asian cooking. Let's heat up the wok and get some oil in there. Medium to high heat, just because you want to get a good sear. Next, we're gonna add our aromatics, which is the ginger and the scallion. And let it heat up for about a minute or so to release the flavor.
So Janet, your mom made this dish for you here in this kitchen when you were pregnant?
Yes, she did. My mom actually stayed with us for the first 30 days after I gave birth, and my mom made the same recipe in this kitchen for 30 days, if you can believe it.
Wow. Did you eat it every day?
I tried to eat it every day, but I honestly have to admit my husband helped me out a lot. So
I don't blame him. It's already starting to smell delicious.
So after it has released the flavor a bit and you can smell it, you would want to scoop about 2 heaping tablespoons of the fermented rice and mix it up, and so that the flavors release. So once you've given it a good stir and the flavor has combined together, you want to add in your chicken. Add in some salt.
Some salt to taste. So where do you like to get your Asian greens?
I do find that going to local Asian markets, you get the best selection and you also get the freshest produce. You don't just go in and you see broccoli all year long. During the springtime, pea shoots will be in season, so that's the only time you get to eat it. During the summertime, water spinach is in season, so that's the only time you get to eat it. So it's nice, it's like seasonal, so it's great. So now, after the chicken is cooking for a bit, we want to add at least half a cup of the rice wine and let it cook and evaporate a little bit. Give it a good stir and you can really smell the dish coming together.
It's getting thicker. The ginger is getting tender.
So now you just want to add a little bit of water, about like a 1/4 cup.
Okay.
And then you want to put in your brown sugar.
So these are the brown sugar candy sticks that we have here.
We use about 1/2 stick. Okay. And honestly, if you can't find it, you can also use the loose soft brown sugar. I would say about 2 tablespoons is good.
So I'm gonna just cover this.
Yes.
And let the flavors blend together.
And let it cook.
So it's been about 15 minutes. Should we take a look?
Yeah, I think it's ready.
Okay. Oh, definitely.
Oh, it smells delicious.
All right, now we're gonna plate it. Let's make this ginger rice. To get started, I will beat the eggs ahead of time. The recipe calls for 4 eggs.
Rule of thumb, fried rice is best when it is day-old rice. The rice dries up, and then that way, when it rehydrates, it actually absorbs the flavor better. When you use fresh rice, it tends to be too wet. It will actually overcook because it's still hot, and then you get very mushy rice, which is not great.
So first step here.
We're going to heat up that wok again with some oil.
Okay.
So we want to make sure the wok is nice and hot before we toss in the minced ginger. Use a spatula, give it a good stir, and make sure to release that flavor. And honestly, just remember, so for this dish, ginger is the star. So you really want to use as much ginger as you can handle. Give it a good stir to make sure it incorporates, because you want to have a bite of ginger in every bite of rice.
I'm getting the aromatics from the ginger. I think we're ready.
Okay, so we're going to add a few pinches of salt.
Okay.
Just to help it release the flavor. And once you can smell the flavor of the ginger releasing, you can add in the rice.
So this is just day-old jasmine rice.
Yes. Give it a good stir, incorporate all the ingredients. Once you see that the rice has released and it's no longer in big clumps, you can pour the egg mixture directly on top and just do a slow swirl so that you get egg on all of it.
Is this done?
You know what? I think it is.
Okay.
I think it's ready to be plated.
So now we're gonna make our blanched Asian greens.
So this is definitely a super simple recipe. All you need is a pot of boiling water, some green, and oyster sauce. We're gonna have a pot of boiling water going. We like to add a little bit of chicken bouillon powder to flavor it, but not overwhelming. So 1 tablespoon is usually good. A pinch of salt, and we're ready to go.
And we have our Asian greens here. So are there any substitutes that we can use for this?
Sure, so we are using Chinese broccoli right now, and honestly, they taste more like kale than American broccoli florets, but you can also substitute it with broccolini.
Okay, so we're blanching it in the boiling water.
So once you have the vegetables in, you want to drizzle some oil. The oil actually will really make that vibrant green pop. Give it a good mix. We just want to make sure to let it boil for at least 1 to 2 minutes.
And this is a meal that can be done in 30 minutes or less.
Absolutely.
Which is amazing.
All right, I think the vegetables are done.
Okay.
Turn the flame off. Let's get it on a plate. So when we're done, just a very light drizzle of the oyster sauce and it's ready to go.
Janet, thank you for sharing this dish with me.
Oh, you're welcome. And I'm just glad to be able to share this with you, and maybe one day you can share it with your friends and family as well.
Thank you. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Cooking with Kat, and follow me on Instagram @CatPetersTeam. See you next time.